right, I'd like to call to order the meeting for the Carver Council on Aging. Today is January 26th. It's a little after 4:30. We do have a quorum, and we are meeting today in Town Hall in Room 1. And this meeting is being televised and recorded by Area 58 Access Media, and it will be posted by Area 58 when it is available after they upload it. I'd like to start the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We do have a quorum for this meeting. We have Mary DeRoss, Elaine Raymond, Alan Dunham, and Donna Ferrand. And Helen Maroney is going to be here. She's stuck in traffic, but she'll be in probably around 5 o'clock. The next item on the agenda, I'd like to welcome Alan Dunham as a board member to the Carver Council on Aging. Welcome. We're glad to have you. And we have Michael Nicolazzo. I did good, okay. As an alternate. Thank you very much for joining the board. Discussions during the Council on Aging meeting should always be courteous and respectful. During the meeting of specifically today, 126, this is a working board meeting, and all statements made during the public comment time should be kept to a maximum of 3 minutes, and public comments will only be at 10 minutes total. And you should confine your comments to the agenda and what appears on the agenda today. You may also email an agenda request item for a possible future meeting to any board member. And on the agenda today, on the back side, I actually added all the email addresses for all the board. The next item on the agenda is public comments. Do we have anybody from the public that would like to comment? Okay, if you can just state your name.
Brenda Call.
Okay.
I was just wondering if you could just explain the process of new people getting on the board. I don't know if, like, how people get, is it, obviously the seat's unelected, so I didn't see anything posted for open positions or anything, so I just want...
Right, so just so you know, so all open positions are posted online on the town website, and there's actually an application that you can fill out on the town website. So that would be how somebody would approach getting on any board in the entire town. So, thank you. Any other?
Through the chair, that Elaine Weston asked me to include that notice in our newsletter, so that was actually posted in either the November or December newsletter. That it was all committees and boards, but it was mentioning and cited the site to reference for that.
All right, so when we review the newsletter today, it'll be in the newsletter.
No, it's not in our current newsletter.
Okay.
But Elaine had asked me to post it, I want to say a couple of months ago.
Okay.
There were so many openings on boards and committees for people to go on the website, on the town website to apply.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Do we have any other public comments? No other public comment? Thank you, Carol. All right. The next item on the agenda is the vice chair reorganization, and at this time we do not have a full board. Our entire board is not here, and I'd like to have a motion that we postpone that vote until Helen Maroney or we have a full board.
I make the motion.
Okay, what is the motion?
To wait for a full board.
Okay, for the reorganization for vice chair?
Yeah.
Okay.
I second.
We have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. It's unanimous. Okay. The next item on the agenda is approval of minutes from December 1st. You all have a copy of the minutes in front of you. and absent was Elaine Raymond and Paula Hitchcock. So at this point, we'll actually have to postpone the approval of the minutes because we don't have the full board here that was at that meeting. Helen Marone, it was only Helen, Mary DeRoss, and myself, so we'll wait on that as well. So if we can have a motion to postpone voting on the minutes.
So moved.
Second. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay. Okay, the next item on the agenda is the rental agreement. And you all have, it's called usage agreement. And you all have a copy of that. So the last meeting that we had made a couple of changes. So does everybody have it in front of them? Elaine, do you have it?
Oh, yeah, I got it.
Okay.
So many papers.
All right, so the last meeting, we had voted to increase the private function fee to $100 for 4 hours for the weekends for Saturday and Sunday. And then the other item that we had voted on was to add the application signature at the back of the form. And I think this needs to still be reviewed, so my suggestion would be to everybody to take this home and review it, and then when we come back, if we need to make any other
Changes.
suggestions. Did you have something, Mary?
I thought on the, under C,
Yeah,
during the week of regularly scheduled hours, minimum to 4 hours was going up to 75.
okay.
Was I wrong?
No, I think you're absolutely right. Under, during the week after regular scheduled hours, right?
Yes.
$75,
Yeah.
yeah. I believe that's exactly right, Mary. So the rest of this, you can, look it over, really take a hard look at it. One of the highly concerned things was if there was availability for the director to cancel a request for the rental agreement if there was some type of rental agreement issue, and that has been updated in here previously. But other than that, I don't see anything at the moment that pops out at me, except that we talked about if we do rent this building out, how are they going to have access to the building? Who would let somebody into the building, number one? And then the other thing was, is there going to be somebody from the Council on Aging that would oversee the rental that night? So say it was rented for 4 hours. Do we have an employee that would be paid to stay on the premises to make sure that nobody got hurt or something like that, or that the property is locked up at the end of the night? So that was one of the items that we had discussed, and we wanted to talk about that. So I don't know if anybody has any discussion on that at the moment.
I'm just thinking of how it was done, that the key was given to by Carol before, and then it was turned in back to her. But I'm thinking if they have a $50 security deposit, I mean, do you really need somebody to oversee it? There never was anybody. That's
Right, well,
was that
things-
against the law? I don't know.
Right, so things have changed.
Yeah, yeah.
And liability is an important for the town, so that is a very highly, concern, is to make sure that the property is left in the same way, is
But
rented the same
I
way.
haven't read this, but is there something in here denying your liability? If something was to happen, you weren't there. That's what I'm saying.
Well, there is a part in here that we wanted to add, that if the director felt that it was being rented and it needed to be changed, like say something came up for the Council on Aging and they needed to have a function that night, she may need to cancel the rental agreement so that something could be done for the Council on
No,
Aging.
I meant if nobody was there to supervise, is there a clause in here saying that we're not liable? Or the town isn't liable?
I don't
not
have
read it
that,
also.
yeah, I'd have to look at that to
No.
give you that
I
information,
mean,
because
would that cover us, is what I'm saying.
I don't know, the last time the town administrator was here, we had a long discussion on this, and he was they were more concerned about making sure that the building could be locked up and that there's no ability to lock every single room in the Carver Council on Aging,
Yeah.
okay? Like the pantry, you can't lock that, you can't lock certain rooms. And Connie, if you could just answer me on that, please?
Yeah, I'm sorry, through the chair, I just want to address it. The key that was given actually opens up every office in that building.
Oh, okay.
That's why there is a concern. The pantry actually can be locked. It is
Okay.
locked. Offices are locked, but the key that was
Okay,
given
so that
out
was the
actually
problem.
opens up every door in that building, and without
Okay.
supervision. And there is a notation in here that the renter agrees to indemnify the town of Carver and all its employees, volunteers, and boards and officials for any damages, liability, legal action. So that language is in here.
Okay.
So, yeah, to your point, Paula, that is, I think, that covers, and the renter is taking on that liability. But I think that's the greatest concern, is that there's no oversight. The doors, in locking them is tricky too, like, you can show somebody how to lock it.
Mhm.
If it's not done correctly, that, the building is open to the
Open,
public.
right.
And, so I think we've just been lucky in the past that there's never been any issues,
Mhm.
and there honestly hasn't. This isn't a reason to do it because there's been an issue.
Most of the people that rented it were townies saying.
Exactly,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
and it's not to, like I say, that there was anyone gave us a reason to do this.
Mhm.
It's just, to me, that I get worried that I feel like that there's no oversight because
Mhm.
there are so many variables that things could be, like I said, just leaving
Right.
them locked in general, just by
All right.
accident. Or one door, there's many doors that would have to be addressed to be sure that they're locked after
Okay.
an event.
Thank you. Alan, do you?
Yeah, Madam Chairman, I was wondering, does the Council on Aging building have an assigned janitor to it? One janitor that works there?
Not on the weekends, like, so if there is, and their hours are during the day. So any events are at night during the week or on the weekends, there's no one assigned.
Is there any possible way, I don't know what the whys and wherefores are, that have, on a rotating basis, asking for one of the janitors to be willing to work overtime and have the rental agreement cover their cost? So they would be responsible for opening and closing the building when the function is done.
Well, I know when we did women's volleyball at the high school, that's what they did. Yeah, they paid the janitor.
Because I just think that way we always, the town would have, and a town employee there for the function.
Right.
And, we would have to pay, they would have to be paid at time and a half rate, I would imagine, but that would be included in the rental agreement, so the who's ever renting it would be covering that cost.
Okay, so then we'd have to look at the rental agreement and come up with a motion for that.
Well, also, you'd have to check with whoever,
The
whichever
town
own it,
administrator,
to find out
Right.
if that's even possible. But
Right.
to me, that would be the easiest idea, to make sure, that way it's not falling on Connie at all, or one of us,
Mm-hmm.
or, but it's still a town employee, and the town has liability covered.
All right, so I think that's a great opportunity. Connie, will you take care of checking with, okay, so Connie will check with the town administrator, and I'll send off an email. If the board would like me to send off an email to the town administrator about that as well, I will. And then the other item, do you want to continue talking about this? Do you want to take it home and read it? What is your desire?
Well, Madam Chairman, where this is my first time, and Michael's first time too, first time he's probably seen this, I would feel more comfortable having a chance to take it home and discuss it fully, plus get my questions answered, and so to, maybe have a possible vote on the February meeting.
Okay, all right.
Who did you say you were going to email?
I'm going to email the town administrator, and I'll CC Connie, and I'll CC Helen Maroney, she's the secretary. And then I'll forward the email to the entire board. So do we have a motion on the floor to postpone any voting on the usage agreement?
So moved.
And do we have a second?
I second.
And all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. All right, the next item on the agenda is the goals for 23-24, and I'm going to actually just stand up over here. And Carol was so nice to help me with this. So we do this every now and then. We write some goals for the board. So I just wanted to give everybody an opportunity to think about what goals you might want as part of the board to work towards. In the past, we have worked towards outdoor activities, and we completed an outdoor activity. We did long-term planning, which we're always in the conversation with long-term planning. That's been an ongoing conversation. Evening events, we had a game night, and that went over very well. Our marketing for the Council on Aging and awareness, we've gone out into the community. We did the night event for Carver Night Out. We've done Shirtlift Park. On Sunday, we've had something outside under the gazebo. But Connie has caught up on her marketing and things like that. She's going on her second year as director?
Oh, yes.
She's going on her second year as director, so she's actually been marketing the Council on Aging pretty well between the town website, the Facebook, social media, and things like that. Technology, we now have the Wi-Fi upgraded at the Council on Aging, so that was completed this year, and we're happy about that. And I understand there's going to be another possible tie-in between the South Carver Fire Station and the Carver.
A town-wide network.
A town-wide network, so that's coming in the works. And also we added an electronic or technology program, and they're using iPads, so they have iPads at the Carver Council on Aging, and so people are able to take a class to learn more about iPads. So keeping that in mind, going back over to the goals, I'll start over in this corner, over to Paula, and just say, do you have one or two items that you'd like to see for a goal?
I'm a little confused about goals as far as costs and finances, where we don't have any idea
So the
what can
goal,
be spent, because we don't have a treasurer. I mean, that's what the only reason.
well, we can put down your goal that
Yeah.
you think. As far as financing and all that, we'd have to discuss it and come up, discuss it with the town administrator. The budget is being put through right now. I do know there's $1,000 in the budget, but that is not the board of directors'
Yeah.
budget. That's the director's budget.
But
So
mine
this-
says, us as a goal is to do activities, or us as a goal that would like to see at the COA.
Whatever goal you would like to see.
I'm still hoping for that pavilion.
Okay.
I really am. I know we didn't get the granted, but I know when I suggested that 30,000 that we got from Chico, I was told that it's designated, but in the minutes I read from Helen, it says that it can be used for facility active things. So, and I don't know anything about this arbor thing that was at the
Right,
thing.
so they,
And can we as a committee put some of our needs into that? I don't know what that covers, what
Okay.
the thing
All right.
is, but
there is a,
I don't see why the school and the fire department, all them, they're first there to ask for it, but.
there's a
yes.
budget meeting on Saturday
Yeah.
in the in this room on Saturday. And you can come and see if there's public comment, and you can make a comment at that time if you wish. But not as a representative of the board,
As a
you
citizen.
can make it as a
Yeah.
citizen.
Yeah, as resident.
Any other goals for the board, Elaine?
Well, I was, where I'm on the entertainment or whatever.
Okay.
What do you think? That's where I've been thinking. You and I had talked about maybe having like a fire pit or something, just for a night to do, or late afternoon, to do hot dogs or s'mores for the people. I think those things went well. I was also thinking if we do something like another game day, Saturday afternoon might work better because we did it at night last time. A lot of people don't like to drive at night. On Saturday, a lot of people who are seniors that still work might be able to make it. And I know I think the Carver Night Out went over well, and I think if we do the farmers market again.
All right, can you just move the mic closer?
Oh, sorry.
And there's a mic over there.
I'm usually loud enough. Does this work?
I don't know.
Okay.
Or Mike, if you want to come sit over here, and Paula over there, it doesn't matter. If you want to move over here or move by a mic, you're welcome to. Or Paula, you can move over there, and Michael over here. Alan, do you have any goals?
Well, first up, I just want, Connie, what is your whole budget for the COA is only $1,000 for the year?
No, that was an added activities budget that was put in.
Okay, but it's only $1,000 for activities.
For the most part, that our friends group is basically funding most of the programs as far as like crafts go, and support some of the entertainment that we hire. Other programs are self-funded with regard to instructors that are paid directly by the students in their classes, like the yoga class, Qigong class. Some of those are direct pay. But as far as the budget goes, there hasn't been a line item other than the $1,000 that was designated as activity.
Well, I think it's great, it's tremendous what the Friends do. But to me, the town only having $1,000 on a line item for activities,
Yeah.
I think our goal should have as many of us show up Saturday. What time is the budget hearing on Saturday?
I'll look it up.
I'm sorry, through the chair, if I can mention. I have added for this fiscal '24 additional funding, which I have to actually present before the FinCom and discuss why there's an increase, this being the very reason.
If you're going to discuss the freezers, are you going to do that now?
No,
Okay, all right.
This is,
I was going to say we can,
no, this is the budget that we're referring to.
Okay, yeah.
And line items that, there has been line items that are added into it is hired, that's a big of what the actual title is for it. Contract hires, which is referring to like entertainment and outside activities, so I do have a
little
line item for that.
Okay.
I had to identify, because it was falling under other purchase services, which was a nebulous category that was defining what it was for. We have, for example, I do pay for, in my other purchase services, was the Singo, which is an activity that happens monthly. So that's an activity that's
Fall
been
under
covered,
that.
Right. So I've been adding to that and building that so we can have other activities as well.
Well, I think we as a board need to really show Connie the support, and to the Finance Committee and to the Board of Selectmen that, the town has to buck up and contribute more funding to the seniors in the town.
so if I
And so
can-
however we can do that,
Right.
whether we have to have one-on-one meetings with them or write a letter as a board to the head of the Finance Committee, Chairman of the Board of Selectmen, and the town administrator with our, voicing our strong support to see an increase in budget for activities for the seniors.
Okay, so I just give you a little background. So when I came on board as chair, they had 0. I put in for 500, so we got approved for 500.
I'm a little more greedy than that.
I know, but now we're at 1,000, and what was your budget going to be for this year?
Well,
1,500? The 1,000 for the activity.
But yeah, it's more than that, it's closer to 2,500.
Okay. So we're going up.
That's
So That's
good.
a good
Okay.
thing.
But I wanted to mention too, this is just so we're not giving this information.
Yep.
I believe the Saturday meeting for the budget discussion is at the fire station.
Fire station, okay, yeah, I'll look it up before.
Is that their annual meeting where they meet BOS and finance?
Yeah.
And all the chairs of the various
Yes.
come on in? Okay. And what time does that start, do you know?
I don't know, I just know my time.
What time, what's your time?
Is 11:20.
Okay.
Hold on, I'm looking it up now.
I thought it was
Saturday. Joint. It starts at 8:30 a.m. on Saturday. And,
Usually, Madam Chair, usually they do not have a public comment period.
no.
But if we can go, are they having one this
I
time?
don't believe.
No, because normally not, but if
There's
a
not.
few of us can be there for when Connie's giving her presentation, just to show our support.
Yeah, you can say I have
that would be
members
a
from
good
the
thing.
board here. Connie is speaking at 11:20 on the agenda, okay?
Okay, thank you. Other than that, I didn't see this before. They put a lot of thought into it, so I'd prefer to wait,
Okay.
give it a month to think about, and see if I can come up with anything, or if somebody has ideas. I will warn you, I have to write to the Selectman's office. I have not been able to get into my email yet, so I hope to get that rectified soon. So if anybody wrote, and I haven't answered, it's not that I'm ignoring you, it's that I haven't been able to get in yet, so.
I sent you 7 emails. I think.
Okay, well, I haven't seen one of
I
them.
was wondering why you haven't answered any of the emails,
I
everybody
welcome
else.
to,
All right,
Donna, just to clarify through the chair,
yeah,
this money that we are trying to get over 1,000 would be for the board to use for activities?
no, it's
No, this
for
is
her
part of
act-
Connie's?
Connie's act.
Okay, all right. So
Yeah, if
we would continue to fund whatever activities we,
Well,
because it does add up.
I know, I think that we should put in a line item for the board, because we're required to hold different functions. It's part of our requirements as a board. I mean, it's in our bylaws.
Well, it's too,
So,
Madam
and
Chair,
we have
it's
no
too-
money.
Madam Chair, it's too late
Yeah.
to do that for this year.
Right.
But that's something we need to do for next year's budget and get it in early, saying,
Okay.
you know, the board of directors are required to come up with 3, 4, whatever activities,
Activities.
and we would need a budget
Right.
for it.
Okay, thank you. Mary?
I was thinking at some point, referring to Elaine, on a Saturday or a Sunday afternoon, just having a tea or something,
A tea.
like a tea, tea, coffee, pastries. But my question to the chair is, can we make these pastries and bring them in, or do we have to purchase these pastries
We'll have to,
if we do it?
yeah, I think we'll have to go through the cook that's there, or we have to buy it.
Okay,
All right, so, but the cook might be able to order us something for the tea.
Okay.
That's worked in the past where they've ordered us some different items that we've needed,
Yeah.
so. But that's a good point.
yeah, okay.
Anything else, Mary?
No, that,
How about you, Michael? Do you have any ideas?
Yeah, you want to get over here?
Yeah, if you don't mind. Thank you.
I don't know if I'm a little assumed on this, because I noticed on the bottom, you have the thing about pickleball.
Yeah.
I've been teaching pickleball since 1972,
Oh,
all right?
We have a pro.
And by the way, you have 2 old tennis courts over here that maybe in the future, we might think of converting to pickleball courts.
okay. So,
I believe rec committee's looking at that.
yeah,
Yeah.
tonight. Tonight, there's a meeting with the
Capital outlay.
capital outlay meeting tonight. They need all the support. I was going to add that at the end of this board. If you can make it, it's at 7 o'clock tonight. I believe it's here at Town Hall, and it's to do with funding for the pickleball courts, okay? So I put pickleball. Do you want to, if it gets up and running, it'll probably take a year to get that up and running, but maybe down the line, I know that there are Council on Aging who have pickleball tournaments, and they
Yeah.
take the Gatra bus, and they go from Council on Aging to Council on Aging. Maybe our friend Michael here could head up a pickleball team and we could get the Gatra bus maybe to deliver a team to the other towns. Bridgewater has one, Duxbury has one, Marshfield has one, I believe, and East Bridgewater that I know of. And I've seen them in action, and they're pretty busy. So that's exciting that you have an interest in that.
Oh, yeah.
Is there anything else?
How about a men's coffee club on like Saturday morning?
Hey, okay.
I'd be interested in helping with that as well.
All right, so, anything else?
I'm not going to say anything more, but I could help you build a fire pit if you're interested in that too.
Oh, okay. All right.
I've built them before.
All right. Okay, thank you very much. So, keeping in mind, these are the goals that the board has put down. I'm going to add a couple of my own. And I'd like to see us offer a multicultural meal, maybe twice during the year, maybe offer some linguiça and rice and beans or something like that. Or I know we have a lot of Finnish people in town, so maybe some Finnish coffee bread or something like that, but some type of different meal. So I'm going to add that down. Yeah, and it doesn't have to be, all the time, maybe just like a couple of times or something like that. And then the other thing that I had in mind was, I was more interested in offering a presentation on dementia and becoming a dementia-friendly Council on Aging and a dementia-friendly town. And I actually I am certified in that presentation. So and it would be free. It doesn't cost anything for the town for me to do that. So I'm going to add a dementia-friendly program, if that makes any sense. So usually what I do is I leave these up like this. Well, I'll add these to our minutes, and then at our next meeting, we can always have them on our agenda, so we always can see them and know that they're there, and are we working towards these goals? And I think these are great ideas. Now, the last thing I just want to say is that as the board, we don't want to take over any programs. Connie's the director, so she creates the programs, she oversees the programs of the Council on Aging. So if one of these were to turn into a program, obviously we have to go through the director to set it up. Like a men's coffee hour would probably be something that would go through the director, and my dementia-friendly program. So we'd have to pick what we as a board could do, and what a suggestion to the director, what we would like to see during the course of the year. But does anybody have any more conversation on the goals? No? Okay.
I just had one.
Yeah,
I had an idea, and I know the 20,000 is designated for the walkway and the fence. I don't know which fence, but I was just wondering if there was anything left over. I've been watching when people leave bingo that I help out at. A lot of them that have a hard time that can't go down and get the cards. They wait for their spouse or their friend in the front. So I was hoping if we had any money left over from that project that maybe we could put out a bench and dedicate it to Madden or something, so that people, if they have a hard time, standing, they can sit and wait for their ride, because it takes a while for their spouse
Right.
sometimes to go around and get the car and bring it
Yeah,
around.
well, why don't we put that up as a goal, right?
It's a goal.
Just an idea.
Yeah, no, that's a great idea.
Well, if we go that route also, for during inclement weather, if it could be covered, would be a good thing.
Yeah, maybe we could get Boy
So-
Scouts or something to do do that.
Yeah, a pavilion over the bench, Paula. Right, Paula? A pavilion over the bench.
Well, actually, not, the Scouts could do it, but that would be something, I know the regional Rochester, Old Colony Vogue is always looking for projects
We
within
have-
towns.
yeah,
And
we
they
have
do
a
that
little-
for free, except for maybe materials.
Yeah, we have I'll just give you guys an update on that while we're talking about Old Colony Vogue. So we have a contact at Old Colony Vogue, and we're trying to get through an outside deck pavilion and have them build that. So we have been in contact, and I don't know the particulars, but I'm sure Connie, when she updates us with the director's report, might have something to add to that. Any other conversation on the goals? All right, so I'll take this, I'll add it to our agenda. Our next meeting, we can have it on the agenda again. The next item is the director's report. So everybody has a copy of the director's report? Yeah, please, Connie. Why don't, yeah, right there is good.
This is a compilation of updates for both December and January, since we didn't have an opportunity to go over the December statistics. Listed there are just, there's a lot of numbers, and I just want to point out, I'm just going to make general comments with regard to our GATRA bus service has increased dramatically, and it seems like it's growing and will stay at higher numbers. So we are in the process of actually meeting with GATRA to discuss a fourth bus to join the three that we already have. So that would be relieving some of the pressure, because we have our schedule is really tight as it stands, and can open up a little bit more opportunities. Our meals, I have both December and January numbers. They tend to trend between congregate and Meals on the Move around 1,000 meals per month on average. In our outreach, I did include some statistics. I was able to speak to Heidi to find out how many people that she helped with various applications, particularly through the winter months. Fuel assistance has been quite a bit. She had 110 fuel assistant applications between September and currently, and 70 SNAP applications between December and January. She also is helping with all sorts of applications for Mass Health or housing, referring to assisted living facilities, emergency housing, wellness, and so forth. Her Shine duties kicked into high gear with open enrollment in the fall, and she was able to assist 118 seniors between the open enrollment period and the current period is also addressing the Medicare Advantage, which she's still working with seniors on that. My senior center registrations to date are at 341. The newsletters, one of which is attached for February, for this mailing particularly, we just sent out, we emailed 619, we mailed 857, and distributed 350 throughout the town. December recap or some of the events: we had the holiday fair, a bus trip to Yankee Candle, the Carver Elementary 5th grade chorus came and had a lovely holiday concert, really well received, well attended. The students couldn't have been nicer. They were so talented, and conversed with the seniors after the performance. It was really nice. We had a restorative yoga class from our yoga instructor to kind of bring in the new year. And of course, the ice cream socials are very popular, and we made it a New Year's theme with a countdown to noon instead of midnight. January.
Can I just stop you right
yes.
there? So going back to Heidi.
Yes.
So can you just give an example of something that Heidi does, like her worst case scenario?
Well, our just listed there was like emergency housing.
Okay.
For an individual that was in dire straits and that needed housing. So
Okay.
she has the resources to look for the assistance to provide that for an individual. In fact, it became a situation for her where she was actually returning from a vacation where somewhere along the line, communication had broke down between the agencies with the individual, and Heidi needed to step in and deal with the housing because the individual was without the housing that they were in need of. So she stepped in basically on her own time, actually, to address the emergency.
Okay.
So that
All right.
happens not often, but
Right.
it's the level of involvement that
Right.
she gets involved with.
And that involves a lot of emails, a lot of applications, driving to the housing
There's
authority.
a lot of communication with a lot of people, and that's where if a communication breakdown amongst other people, there's lawyers, there's all sorts of individuals, there's, other caregivers perhaps, there's other people involved,
Right.
family members. So it's, and staying on top of that. So she's a critical element, and in this case, thank goodness she was available because there had been a breakdown on other people involved, and
Right.
she was able to step in and resolve the emergency.
Okay.
So,
Well,
especially
that's
with-
important.
Well,
I
it is,
mean,
especially because housing, this individual was going to be without housing.
housing, right. Okay. All right. Thanks for sharing that. Go ahead.
No, just looking at January, we started the first birthday celebration month on the beginning of the month. We started a weekly Qigong class, which I think is starting to grow. I think there's a curiosity over what it actually is. There is an explanation on our Facebook page, but a few people have come in and watched the class to understand. It's a very
Different.
it's related to Tai Chi in some ways, and there's slow movements that are gentle, so it's really appropriate for certainly our age group.
Right.
And I think it has every type of modification, so it could be done completely seated or in a variation of partially standing or seated, and it's just a really nice, relaxing,
Gentle.
meditative, and gentle program. And yet you do a lot of movement throughout.
And you, when you're doing it, you're actually practicing your breathing. So if you have blood pressure problems and things like that, it's actually an asset to your medical that you might need. If you check with your physician, I'm sure they're going to tell you Tai Chi is great or Qigong is good.
And the Friends this month also had started their membership drive. They're doing monthly events, and the first event was a hot cocoa bar, just to entice some people to come in, which it definitely did. And they were, I don't know what their numbers are right now, but they definitely have increased their membership dramatically just with the first drive, and there's one scheduled for February as well as March. We had a very well-attended nutrition program, which is a bone health program, and I think it's a topic that hadn't been touched on previously, and there was a lot of interest, and it was we had about 20 people that showed up for that, and it was, or a little less than that.
How many men showed up?
I don't think we had any men. I don't think.
So,
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, we did. We actually did. Yeah.
So 1 in every 4 men are developing calcium deficiencies and bone issues.
That was actually
So-
mentioned by Marcia Richards, who's the
Yeah.
registered dietitian, that she said the perception is that it's a women's issue.
Right, it's not.
And that's right, that we did have a gentleman there, I forgot.
Yeah.
And she is coming back in March with another program. And I
Good.
think they're very well received. And it's nice to see people coming out for this type of program. And just an update on just general programs that have been growing. Our weekly craft class has grown to 19 participants. I've been adding tables, and we've been just expanding, and I think I need to get another table. The monthly book club is at 18 members.
Wow.
I used to hold it in the little library, but now I have to move it to the room at the back of the nutrition center because we've actually grown too big for the library. And I noticed that the Rummy Cube games have expanded to 2 tables
Wow.
instead of just the one that had been used.
Good.
Coming up for February, the newsletter's attached to this notice, and just updating with the highlights as basket weaving with Patty Batson is returning. She has one day scheduled for February. Singer Jennifer Mello, who's returning. She has a Valentine concert with love songs and classics. That's on February 7th. Another membership drive for February will be chocolate dipped fruit. And the annual favorite of the AARP free tax preparation. I'm getting calls already for taking appointments. It is on Mondays only. Again, run by volunteers that give of their time so graciously. And it will be every Monday through April 10th, starting February 13th, with the exception of President's Day on the 20th. The Valentine LCR game is an annual event we do, which goes over really well. And just a little different, we're doing a Mardi Gras, 2 Truths and a Lie game with the Mardi Gras beads as part of a game. And looking forward, we have monthly foot care, something that we've not been able to get back on track with since it stopped with COVID. So we do actually have that scheduled to start in March, and I'll take appointments, from this point forward and establish that. It's targeting to be every 4th Wednesday. April is on a different date just because of a conflict, but it will be after that, every 4th Wednesday on a monthly basis. The Mediterranean diet is going to be the focus for Marsha Richards' program, and the St. Patrick's Luncheon will be on Wednesday, March 15th this year. And the balloon bus trip to Newport Playhouse is being scheduled for April 5th. Some additional updates, I think we referred to the ARPA funds, and there was a meeting with requests for what I put forth was a request for replacing the freezers that we currently have, which most of which are hand-me-downs that are well over 20 years old, and some have been showing the signs of issues with,
Yeah, there was
frost buildup.
not
One
pretty.
has to be held closed with a cinder block. There's the seal on some of them have completely gone. The thought is too that as a result, they're probably not running at the greatest efficiency. So if we get new high efficiency ones, I'm sure there'll be a cost savings just with that alone. And the goal is to not have any of them be out in sort of the outside access to underneath the COA to this basement area, which is just not a safe situation. Its access is difficult, particularly this time of year, and it's just difficult to carry the food then into the building, and it's mostly June's doing it by herself.
And if I could just stop you right there. So a year ago, I did a kitchen inspection at the Council on Aging, and there were 11 freezers, just so everybody knows. There were 11 freezers down there, and they were all very old. They shouldn't have even been being used technically. But anyway, we got it down to 7 freezers, and they were all out, except one of them is in a shelter outside, a big walk-in freezer. But almost all of them were in this back room, and we call it the spider room. It's way, you have to go out, down the stairs, outside, around the corner, underneath the congregate room, and go into the freezer and refrigerator section. So that's what it looks like right now. There are, I think, 2 freezers downstairs near Peg's office down there. I think there's 2 down there. But anyway, so the ultimate goal is to make it safe for the employee and bring those freezers inside the building so they're not walking out in the snow and down the stairs and carrying big boxes of food. It's crazy. So anyway, Connie worked really hard with Dave Siedentopf on trying to develop a plan for that, and we're excited that that's gonna be taken care of, so that's exciting.
Yes, and it will get, and hopefully with the goal is none of them will be in that spider room, and to have actually a couple on the floor in the pantry where the first level, so stairs aren't even going to be involved on some of it,
Right.
where June will actually have assistants to bring in things from the one that's outside, she won't be doing it by herself.
Right.
An update on the Cultural Council grants. Approvals came in for 4 of the 5 programs that I submitted for. We're having Irish musician Stanley and Grimm for the St. Patrick's Luncheon, charcoal art workshop with artist Jesse Fries, 50 admission tickets to Butterflies of Cape Cod, which is located in Bourne, and a Barn Babies program with actual little animals, which I've heard is a very popular program. In addition to the grants that I applied for, there are additional grants that were applied directly by the performers. Notable Blend Chorus received a grant to perform for the by the Cultural Council to perform for the COA. And Soothing Touch to Go, which offers wellness programs, is also going to be able to give us a program. I haven't determined which program we'll be going with, but they just let me know that they have a grant as well.
Huh.
Any
Is
questions?
that do they do massages? Is that what they do?
They have a whole list of things. They have like a
You
chair.
can
They did the drumming for us, the creative drumming
Oh, okay.
last year.
I heard that went over really
That
well.
was fun. Yeah.
That's fun, okay. All right, does anybody have any questions for Connie through the chair?
I was
Okay.
wondering what the additional requests were for the COA that we discussed that might be approved by the...
All the things that we were talking about too, like maybe the deck would fall under that. Maybe we were also talking about the mini splits, and we're talking about, Brenda had mentioned that too, that the heating and cooling that might fall under. So there's a lot of questions as to what things have been presented before for the ARPA funding, and there's different categories of qualifications. But there's been some that have been submitted with success and some that have been turned down. So we want to see, that's the discussion of what could actually be
And
covered.
could it go to an employee's salary?
Not the ARPA.
No, okay.
No, but
All right.
yeah, but what the consideration is in the discussion is with the earmark grant, the one that wasn't defined specifically, whether if we were going to designate, say, the mini splits or something for the funding with that, if ARPA could cover that, then that would open up the earmark for some other uses. And that's why getting the list together as to what are the priorities. We have a laundry list for the COA that there's a list of all sorts of things that are needed.
Can you give me an update on the maintenance of the building? Or the board update?
I don't have that.
So you don't have an update for maintenance, is that correct?
No, I just have,
Okay.
I know that we were talking, the last meeting I had was just, we had a discussion about the $20,000 grant, or not funds, I mean earmark, that is designated for it's really not the fencing itself, but it is actually a railing, so that we will actually have from improving the access to the handicapped access, which is not really clear right now, that we need to have a better transition from where the handicapped parking is in our parking lot to the actual walkway.
Okay.
And alongside that, there would be a railing where there is none now. It goes along where the fence is, but the railing would actually be on the opposite side of the walkway. But it would carry a railing all the way up to the ramp that accesses the building, where there has been just an additional railing established there. So hopefully it would be pretty much very little gap between getting all the way into the building and having the ability to hold on to something secure.
That's awesome. The last thing I did have a question on was the maintenance. I have sent out 3 or 4 emails over the past year requesting a maintenance schedule, and I have not received it to date. And I was told that they were hiring a manager who was going to oversee the project at the Council on Aging and all the town buildings and put a priority list together of what needed to be done. That still hasn't come through email to this board or to the director. So I just want everybody to know that I have requested that, the director has requested that, and it's still in limbo. So I'd like to let everybody know that. All right, any other questions for the director? No, okay. So the
Thank you,
next
Connie.
item is the pickleball. And I'm actually getting a text from the Recreation Committee now. They just texted me to remind me to comment on it. So the pickleball, courts, they want to build them where the tennis courts are at the Carver Council on Aging now. One of the items that I had highly recommended, if they're going to build them there, that's great. They're putting a parking lot in there. They need to provide a sidewalk from there up to the Council on Aging building, not just plop pickleball courts and then our seniors can't get down there because it's so uneven ground. So that was one of the items that I thought really should happen down there. And I also talked about putting some type of electrical system and also some type of possible outhouse down there or something, because it's quite a walk down to the tennis courts. And if our seniors are using that and they need to use the bathroom, there needs to be something available to them. So that was one of the concerns. So the meeting is tonight, and the meeting is in room 4, which is downstairs, correct? Room 4 is downstairs. They're telling me it's at 7 o'clock, but when I looked at the agenda for the capital outlay, if that's the particular meeting, it says 6:30, so, and it says room 1, so I don't know if it's a different meeting.
Maybe they're not having that discussion until 7?
I don't
They're
know.
going to discuss other things?
I don't know. What were you going to say, Connie?
Chair,
It's at
it's the CPC money, it's not capital.
All right, so
That's why it's
CPC,
like
okay.
CPC.
Okay, so CPC, okay, so it's 7 o'clock tonight, they're telling me in room 4, if you are for pickleball or anything like that, if you can head down, come back and come to that meeting, they would really appreciate it. So any other questions on pickleball? Nothing? Okay. All right, the next item is board member comment, and we'll start over here to my right to Paula. Do you have anything?
Well, I was just going to make a comment that if they're too unsteady to walk down there, they probably shouldn't play football. But that's just, something just came to me. It's like,
Well, no, I mean, if people want to go down and watch.
I'll walk. That's
Yeah.
why I thought the pavilion, they could sit on the pavilion and watch.
Yeah.
But anyway, the only thing, and it still bothers me, that we don't have a treasurer.
Okay. Well, we don't have a
We
budget,
don't have
so
any
that's
money.
why we don't have a
We don't have
budget.
any money.
We don't have a budget.
No, I treasure for the COA, not just for,
Oh.
not for our board, for the whole COA. Like you said, what are your goals? Well, we don't know what's available. Like if I didn't watch the board,
Mhm.
I wouldn't know about this ARPA fund. I wouldn't know about the grant. And not that we're gonna tell her how to spend it, and I don't mean that at all. And
Right.
just for the history of the COA, when 2 people were unhonest, and I'm not, it's not any, I would just want one for my own protection if I was coming, just to be safe, this is this, this is that.
Well, we have a town treasurer, so we can't really go into a big discussion. It's supposed to be just
No,
a
that's
board
my
member comment.
comments.
Okay,
I would feel better
all right,
being
okay,
on the board knowing that we were accountable to the town.
okay, all right, thank you. Elaine, do you have anything?
No, I think we covered a lot today.
Okay.
I want to thank you again for coming on board. We appreciate you stepping up to the plate. Thank you.
Alan, do you have any comments?
Yeah, it's an honor to be part of this board, to have been selected. I just ask people's patience. I'm the new kid on the block. I've got a very steep learning curve to go, but I hope to be able to be a productive member, not only of this board, but to fully support our COA director, Connie, and the seniors to get more activities for them. Well, me too, I'm 69 now, so I guess that qualifies. Just bear with me and I will get my email straightened out.
Okay.
Thank you.
You have a backlog of emails, so when you get it straightened out, you'll have 2 hours of reading. Michael, do you have any comment?
Really, I'm all set.
Okay, so did you get your email up and running?
No, I haven't gotten to that yet.
Okay, so you need, so just so you know, so everybody on the board, I'm not emailing personal email addresses, so if you can contact the town hall and get a town email address?
Sure.
Okay, thank you. Mary?
No, I am feeling that just that this is my 4th meeting, and like Alan, I'm still learning.
Okay, all right. So the only comment I'd like to say is that Helen's probably going to walk in as we're all walking out the door.
That's called good timing.
But she works all the way on the other side of Boston, and she was stuck in the tunnel for exactly an hour. She left work, I think, at 2:15, and she's still not home. I forget exactly where she works, Westwood or something?
Winchester. She works in Winchester.
Winchester, okay. So she's on her way, but you'll all see her when we leave here. So I just wanted to say thank you to Connie, thank you to everybody that came tonight, and thank you to Alan and Michael for coming on the board, because we have a lot of work to do, as you can see, and a lot of it entails dealing with trying to get more funding for different items at the Council on Aging. Maintenance report is one of them. But moving along, I have no further comment, but our next meeting is February 23rd. And on the back of the agenda, I do have our email addresses listed. Michael, I didn't list yours because I didn't want to list your personal email address. Everybody was given the discrimination form today, and I have everybody's signature, I think, that was here today. There's just the ethics program online that you have to take, and you have to, it's a new login thing now. Elaine actually completed hers already, so thank you, Elaine.
Took a long time.
I can't even get it to launch.
And then the last thing on the agenda on the backside is our old goals, so you'll see them posted there. So if we can just have a motion to adjourn, and before the board goes, I have a meeting agenda policy that I want to give to you to review before our next meeting. So if we can have a motion to adjourn.
I
Move.
move we adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much.